Welcome to the Breadwinners, the podcast about the never-ending hustle and its impact on all aspects of our lives. We're interested in what it takes to keep everything going. This podcast is about women, working, money, and family. We consider the research, talk to experts, and share our takes on what we're learning every day about breadwinning. I'm Jennifer Owens. I write about working, wellness, and women, and founded the Working Mother Research Institute. And most days I'm joined by my co-host, Raquel Ellison. Today, we're back for a special series, talking to guests about the challenges facing the sandwich generation, meaning those of us juggling kids, parents, and careers all at the same time. Our guest today knows this too. Cecilia Aviles, thank you so much for sharing your sandwich story with us today.
Jennifer, I am so excited to be talking to you again.
I love it. So you are a senior operations executive. You're in charge of a humongous budget at Sutter Health, their largest ambulatory care division. You have a $1.4 billion budget, 4,000 employees, 1,000 clinicians, multiple facilities across the Bay Area in California. I'm not going to talk about any of that today. I am going to talk about something completely different, which is our families. What do you think?
I think that is really the work. That really is my work. So I go to work, but then I come home to my real job.
You know, back in the day when I was the editor of Working Mother, I would always say, people would say, well, the best job is being a mom. And I'd say, that's not a mom, it's a life. But yes, no, there's a lot of work that goes into it, even if you don't call it a job.
It's true. It is so true. Absolutely true.
Well, so can you set the scene for us on what your sandwich story is? Who's at home right now? What stage are we at? What's happening?
Absolutely. So I'm a single mom of two girls. One is 17. She just started her senior year in high school, and one will be turning 13 this year and is in 7th grade. So I'm about to have two teenagers at home.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And both my parents are living. They do not live together, but they are both living. And I live close to my family, physically close to my family. I am the only one in my family with a health background. So I'm a nurse by background. Both my parents are aging. Both have chronic diseases. So when there is a hospital call or a hospital admissions, tag, it's me.
So my brother used to run the computer store and repair team for Oberlin College. And so he was the key member at the table, like with all the computer problems. And now that it would be great to have a health professional in our family for family dinners now too. Yeah. Nobody cared about the editor.
It's like, what's your secret sauce? I'm sure they cared about the editor when college essays come into play.
Oh, well, hey, thank you for that segue. How's the college process going for you?
Jennifer, it is really stressful. I have to tell you, I want to project manage my daughter, and that's just not a winning formula for us. So it's nerve-wracking.
Not a winning. That cracks me up. Yes. No, they're the worst employees. We love them. They are the worst. Yes. Yes. How's your doing?
I'd like to fire her, but I'm sure she would like to fire me.
Yeah.
It's difficult because I know, I've been through those chapters of my life and I know what it takes. And I know that from when I was in college to today's in college, that bar has just risen higher. And so I'll be fully transparent. Like, my biggest fear is that as her kind of big first adult decision that can set up the rest of her life,
right?
That if it doesn't start on that path, then I feel like I failed, which maybe I shouldn't be taking this on and giving it more to her, but
I don't know. It's very hard. It's like, I used to say when my kids were younger that my gift to them is keeping my crazies to myself. This is a moment. all my worries. And I try to, be a little, I don't know how much I hit it. My daughter has started her freshman year in college, and all the stories that are coming out now. It's like she turned 18 and then started saying, well, you remember that time that, like, oh, I don't need to know these stories. No,
It's like,
I was placid. I kept the crazies to myself.
oh my God, like those core memories of hers are just jumping out.
Oh,
But
all of them.
yeah, like a foundation, like a core value that I have is the best gift I can give to my kids is a great education.
Yeah.
And I think that's the pressure I put on myself.
I know. I really do. I know it. And then part of that, because we talk about family finances at firstly, is talking about the financial aspect of it. So I know you're working a lot on kind of setting up everything. How is that going?
It has been a journey. And really, you know, I've been a single mom when my youngest daughter was 1 years old. So financially, it's so hard to recover from a divorce. And I know many women experience this, right?
Yeah.
Women and men experience this. And so for me, I've kept it together at a cost, right? At a cost to myself and at a cost to my future. And early on, I really wasn't thinking about retirement, but I will tell you, being in the front lines of healthcare when COVID first hit, that's kind of when I had my aha moment of,
Hmm.
oh, I really need to get my stuff together.
Oh, because it's so frightening from a health perspective, but from how are my finances? Like, what if something happens?
Oof,
That's
yes.
frightening. Yes.
Yes, it really was.
So that was super easy. You just snapped your fingers and everything was together. Got it.
I wish. I really, really wished. And part of it was like, I don't know what I don't know. So I think I know I need to find a financial advisor that can really advise me. An
Yeah.
estate planner. I own property. I don't have a
Yeah.
will, an estate. What would happen then? So it became a real personal journey to find those dream team members and then start on the path of which I am still on.
It's hard because so I don't have a financial planner, and we've toyed around with doing it, and part of it is the work that goes into like finding a therapist, someone who is
Mhm.
meeting you where you are, but you can take you where you need to go. It's like, oh, geez, I have to think about where I want to go, and I have to think about how to explain where I am. I think.
Yes. Yes.
What has that taken as someone who needs to do it?
Yeah, it's taken a lot of work. Just my personal values is I love to work with mostly women teams. Like an all woman team is like my dream team. Sometimes they're really hard to find. So, in order to find a financial planner, like I dug deep, not only Google searches, but moms groups and friends. I had a list of 28 financial planners that were all women, kind of local to the Bay Area where I live. And then it was interviewing them and having them interview me because I was looking for the right fit when I
Hmm.
didn't know what the right fit was. And I got to tell you, it was really humbling. I mean, there was times I felt judged by people,
Yeah.
when they'd say,
That's my
"Oh,
fear,
yeah,
right? That's exactly like, oh, I don't know
yes.
if I want to reveal all this to you because I know we don't have everything buttoned up, you
No,
know?
I know." And so it's those moments when someone says, "Okay, well, you have a pension." And I was like, "No, I don't have a pension." And then they gasp. I was like, "Okay, didn't feel so good on that one."
Yeah, yeah,
Or I got to tell you, there's times that, people fired me before even talking to me when they're like, "Oh, I only work with people that have X amount of money." I was
yeah,
like, "Hmm." I
yeah,
was
I
like,
don't have X amount of money.
I was like, that's the goal. And they're like, "Okay, come back to me then." And I was like, I really want to find someone that will be with me where I'm at and teach me and empower me. And I have to tell you, like, Jennifer, I'm Latinx, and it's really fascinating coming from different cultures. And I can speak about the Latinx culture. My parents taught me nothing about finances. And personal finances aren't taught in school. I
Yeah.
really believe it should. But there's a lot of research out there that talks about immigrant families that come here and that they're kind of the reverse triangle. So if the triangle is people build their foundation, they save for their kids' college, they'll purchase a house. And then if you think of the top being luxury items like cars and boats, coming from a Latinx family, it's the reverse triangle. They start making money, and all of a sudden they're buying the cars and the boats and
Hmm.
not necessarily, the kids' college. So I didn't have any financial role models. So really, who could teach me now?
Yeah.
And, I
And
look,
recognize what you're coming from, right? And have
yes.
have a little empathy for like, I get it. And I kind of get why you're trying to pivot here. Yeah.
And when I look at that age curve on the 401k, like
I
I'm
know.
still really like it's scary. Like I'm still in the zone, but I'm on that tail end of the zone of start aggressively now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, do you talk much? And I'm going to already tell you that I try to have these discussions, but I don't think they're very effective in our family. So, do you talk with your girls about finances any? Like, especially with going to college?
Oh, I do. And let me tell you, it hasn't always gone very well. That's for certain. So when I show my finances or I say, this is what I spoke with my financial planner, like we have to pivot, the younger one will be like, okay, yeah, what can I do? And the oldest teenager will roll her eyes and say, you are just
Right.
being so dramatic. You're not going to be on the streets. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, okay, let's just be clear. I am the sole breadwinner here.
I don't get that. I had it as a child, a product of a single mom as well. And the dream was, let me get to the best college I can get into and we'll make it happen. And boy, did I come out with loans. My younger sibling, my
Mm.
brother, looked at that and said, no. And he looked at it as a financial decision and went to University of Cincinnati, offered him a free ride for law school, and graduated all that college with $5,000 in loans. Let's say his sister did not.
Mhm. Yes.
What's with the younger folks? They're so much smarter, I think, than us older siblings.
So, and I have to tell you that is so true. I mean, that's what my financial planner keeps telling me, which is the best thing you could do with your kids is help them not have loans or as little as possible, because
Yeah.
that has shown to have the most impact in their adult future.
Oh, I agree. It really does decide where, like you talk about like law school coming out. Well, he wanted to get into education. And so he became a teacher. Well, he could and make very little money as a starting teacher because he didn't have huge loans. I could not, I had to take jobs that would pay those loans in addition to my life. It does have a long-term impact. And I know that I sound like I've just discovered this, but it's true. And as we have kids going into college, that is very top of mind of me too. That said, my kid is still ending up at a private college. And I think, what am I doing? But
Mm.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we'll have to connect
Yeah, do
after.
better than me. That's all I
I
can say
know.
is do better than me.
I'm learning the process too, and it's not easy. It's just not easy. So, yes.
No, it's a real pull of like wanting to do the best by your kids. But your definition of the best by your kids at that moment when you're looking at it's like the best college my kids can get into. When actually, we should probably open our minds up to the best for our kids is a broader definition of like, what is the finance? And I know there are good
Yes.
parents out there that do a much better job than I did figuring out like what schools they can afford truly and all that. But it's just hard. It's very hard because you're like, I want the best for my babies.
It really is hard. And I haven't gotten there to these are your acceptances and this is what the package looks like. But I understand that it can be very confusing. And so I'm about to navigate that. So let's connect after
Yeah,
that.
let's come. You know what? We'll come back. In like 6 months, we'll say, "So, how did it go? What did she? That'll be lots of fun."
I will absolutely let you know. And one of the things about, I mean, you know that I'm Latinx, but one of the things about my girls are not only they Latinx, but they are also Black. And so I have biracial daughters. And so when we're looking at these schools, we are also looking at what is the diversity within these schools and how does that look?
Yeah. Right. Do I want my daughter to be one of like 5% of non-white kids on this campus or whatever? I hope there's no school that's that skewed, but yes, what's the community they'll find just to be able to affirm their own experience?
Right. And continue to learn and being biracial children. Will they navigate to one or another, or as the country becomes more integrated within race,
Hmm.
is that a non issue at some of these schools? So that's another aspect that is important that we are exploring also during this search.
So my experience with having, looking at colleges through a new person's eyes, my daughter's eyes, her field, I went to journalism school, she's
Mhm.
going for art. Just in that small difference is like, oh, wait, how I view the entire experience of college is only my one view. And so
Mhm.
my eyes are open to see that in her way. And now that she's just started, I constantly am rethinking like, oh, this is how I see college and the experience. My college was very super competitive to maybe didn't need to be that competitive, like that we're all out to
Right.
get each other. I don't know. What if you could have a different way of college? And I'm wondering if like you must have similar experiences now where they see life differently.
They do. They absolutely see life differently. And I see life as through my eyes,
Yeah.
which is being Latinx. They see life as being, a mixture. And the other thing is the world sees them as being Black.
Right. They see the world one way, but then the world sees them. And oh, wow.
Yeah. And that I have to tell you was a big aha for me because
Hmm.
that's not how I see them. Yeah, so that was a recent moment in time where I just really had to sit with myself and really think about that.
Isn't that what our children's do to us? They just force us to rethink everything.
They do. They challenge us.
Yes.
They see things that we haven't. I mean, I can tell you in the last year how many times they have said, "Did you see that? That was a microaggression."
Woo!
Honestly, after about them saying that 10 times, I had to keep Googling microaggression.
Because you understand it, but do you really understand it? They're like,
No,
oh,
like,
no, good. All
yeah,
right.
yeah, they teach me a lot.
Well, it's truly the biggest gift you really can give them beyond their college education and setting up your finances right is giving them opportunities to school you on something because they love that.
Yeah. The finance thing is really interesting also because right now I give them an allowance. And from their allowance, automatically part of that money goes into a savings. And then we are purchasing kind of funds for them, right? S&P
Really?
500. Yes. And that is new and understanding what they like. And I can tell you that the little one is definitely more into it. The older one is like, can I just have it all because I really want to buy this clothes?
That
So
is my family too. What is that?
I'm like, no, you got a parking ticket. That is not coming from your savings. That is coming from the allowance that's not saving. And really trying to do different with them than what I knew. And all of this is new to me too. So I'm astounded when I'm with their friends and they say, oh, yeah, for my bar mitzvah, I told people I just wanted Tesla stock. My mouth fell open. I was like, wait a second, at 13, you knew to ask for that?
I know. I didn't. Oh my
I
goodness.
I did not at all.
That is hilarious. I mean, and I tell you, I think my son is on the road to that kind of thinking. We just had a whole conversation, and he'll be 15 pretty soon, and he's telling me how he's saving up for something that he wants, and he's earning this, and he's saving that, and yeah, that my eldest is not that way. So, and neither was I. So, I don't know.
Jennifer, neither was I. I kept thinking, like, how do people save? Like, how did they do that?
I know, right?
It wasn't until I met with my financial planner where she's like, okay, you're going to auto save in this account. This is the do not ever touch account. You need to have a cushion. It just automatically goes.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Like, how
I
did
mean,
I
so
not think of that before?
I know. And we're smart women. We read things. We know things, but then there's always a bill to pay. There's always something, you know, I commend you for working on this now as you go into the college world because like just getting stuff for her dorm, that was a huge chunk I wasn't planning on spending. I mean, I knew we were going to have to get some things, but I don't know. I work with a lovely peer at Firstly, and he's so funny. He's like, "You're spending money on their dorm? What?" And I would like to actually see how much he and his wife actually spent on their child's dorm because he also is sending a child to college this year. Let's compare. Let's compare and contrast.
Can we share a spreadsheet? Can we share
Yes.
a spreadsheet with costs?
Because I think it's somewhere between he and I is the actual. You need to spend a little bit more than what he's saying, and you need to spend less than I did. So,
but Jennifer, you bring up such a great point because there's the total cost of college, right? Tuition
yes.
is a portion, but what does it all look like?
Because it harkens back, dear listener, it harkens back to when we were all pregnant with baby number one. And you knew you did not need that bottle warmer. You knew that that was ridiculous. And if you really needed to warm up the bottle, you could do it on the stove in a little pot of water. You don't need to gold plate everything. And the same thing with the dorm rooms, you don't get talked into it all.
Right. There's a lot of companies that are now niched.
Oh,
into
just for dorm. They just throw the word dorm on it, and then it just like with remember for wedding stuff. If they call them wedding napkins, they're 20% more. Just napkins are just napkins. It's the same napkins. So yes, we can figure out a way to save some money on these. These dorm room stuff is it sneaks up on you. That's my tip of the day.
I appreciate your tip of the day. Absolutely. And I really appreciate talking about finances because we don't talk about it enough.
Yes. I think, and I do applaud the colleges now with this total cost of college with looking at ours said, oh, you'll probably need about $700 for travel, your child going back and forth to school during the year. And it's like, oh, that's a good thing to think about because yes, I would like my child to come back for Christmas or whatever. Like that is a cost and that will happen. It's not just tuition and it's not just room and board. There are other things. And so I do appreciate, I don't think they talked about that when you and I went off to college.
I have to tell you, like I stay again, being Latinx, girls aren't encouraged to go off to college. Education was very important to my family. I had no role models growing up who had gone to college. I went to a local college, and it wasn't until I got my master's and people opened up opportunities to other schools that I went to a top business school. And that's where the frame of my reality really changed.
And that's the thing. You and I know firsthand the book that is starting to be written as they move into their college life. That's why it's so hard when they won't write the dang essay on time.
Or do their college list. If you ask me today, Cecilia, what is your biggest pain point? The targeted college list. Because just like you were saying, Jennifer, like I'd like to know it so I can understand what is the total cost of college. Do they give merit? Like I'm trying to plan for the long haul and I need a little help.
I know. Okay, so you and I will make a date. We'll come back here and we'll talk and we'll see how it went.
Okay, let's do that. Fingers crossed that it goes really well.
Thank you so much for joining us on The Breadwinners. I encourage you to email us anytime at thebreadwinnerspod@gmail.com or visit us at thebreadwinnerspodcast.com. Please remember to subscribe and to rate and review us. It really helps us grow. And until next week, keep hustling.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.